The Retirement Freedom Account has 7 important benefits you should know about so that you could take full advantage of them. Now, the odd part is that it's not technically a retirement account, which might be the reason why people don't fully use it to its fullest potential. And the people that do have access to this account, which is really just the taxable brokerage account, they don't know all the benefits that can save them thousands on their taxes and allow them to retire sooner than planned, and even protect their 401ks and IRAs and other retirement accounts. So I'm gonna share how to do that in this video because it's really interesting. There's 2 people and they have the exact same account, the same amounts and the same investments, but it's the person that knows how to use it and the right strategies to apply that's gonna see the full potential of this account. And I'll actually draw out one of the actual examples of exactly how much tax could be saved if you utilize this taxable brokerage account the right way. And if this is your first time here, I'm Dave Zoller and I own retirement planning firm Streamline Financial. And we work with a select number of clients, but we created this channel to share what those successful retirees are doing so that hopefully it can help you too. So let's get into the benefits of this taxable brokerage account and why I call it the Retirement Freedom Account. I'll keep this pretty high level, so let me know if there's any specific strategy that you want me to dive deeper into in a separate video as I roll through these. And as I'm explaining them, I'm gonna have the abbreviation RFA for Retirement Freedom Account, just to make it a little bit faster. So first, number 1 is RFA. It's got unlimited contributions because some of the Roth and traditional IRAs and the 401ks that we have, or 403bs, we've got limits on how much we can contribute each year. And with RFAs, during our peak earning years, sometimes in the 40s or 50s or right before retirement, you can invest as much as you want, which helps you take advantage of your highest earning income years and hopefully get to that maybe a little bit higher level of security and or maybe financial independence, get there sooner by contributing more to this account. Next, there's 0 withdrawal penalties. So if you find a better investment option, or maybe there's an emergency expense that comes up that's above and beyond what your regular emergency fund is, you can use the RFA and pull money out without fear of paying a penalty. I really want to get to these tax saving strategies of the RFA that it gives you, but I'll go in proper order here. So the next one is, it has to do with taxes, and it's the preferential tax rates of an RFA. Now that account, the taxable brokerage account, it's really pay as you go type account, but with strategic management, you can significantly lower the tax impact. Because long-term capital gains, those are your friends, right? Holding an investment for more than 365 days, you can either pay 0% tax on that or a max of 20 to 23% tax, depending on your income, which is going to be lower than your ordinary income tax rate, which could be as high as the upper 30s. The next benefit is the RFA gives you more freedom in the investment choices compared to employer-sponsored plans like 401ks and 403bs. And the RFA is also beneficial if you're planning on leaving a legacy to family, or if that's important to you and you don't want to hand them a big tax bill when you end up heading home. This is because if you've got investments, I'll pull up my screen here. If you have investments, let's pick one, this fake ETF here. And if you've got an investment that went up in value by, say, let's say $5. So now the value is $10 total. If you sold that investment, you'd end up paying tax on the difference. You'd be paying tax on $5. But if your family inherits this, that gain here, it actually ends up essentially disappearing, or the gain kind of gets wiped out. So the new basis, the new value is $10, which means your family, if they were to sell that investment, they wouldn't be paying tax if they sold it at the step up in basis value or cost basis. Okay, so now we're getting to the really good stuff here. This is using RFA strategies to pay less tax or never pay tax on gains again. Because if you could save on tax, that just means more money in your pocket to either spend in retirement or save or to give away. And by the way, if you're liking this video so far, let me know by clicking the like button, because it always means a lot to know if these videos are actually helpful for you. But okay, RFA strategy number 1, if you're planning to stop work before the age of 59 and a half, you'll most likely have to pay a penalty if you were to take out of your IRAs or 401ks. So building the RFA that retirement freedom account could be a good way to kind of build that bridge until you get to retirement age, which is 59 and a half. Next is a big one, and this is where we see clients save tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we do this by getting money into a tax-free bucket or Roth IRA, but pay the minimum amount of tax to do so. And this can be done by using the retirement freedom account as a source of income during the Roth conversion sweet spot. So let me pull up the Roth conversion sweet spot here. It's this period of years after work stops and work income stops and before Social Security or pension or say IRA withdrawals, taxable IRA withdrawals, before those start. This is the sweet spot because if you can use an RFA account or the money market within an RFA or some of the bank funds that you might have to supplement living expenses, it should mean less taxable income to you. Because the RFA, a lot of the money in the account is not taxable as ordinary income when it comes out. That means less tax rates. And less tax rates is nice because then if you're in a low tax bracket, you can move money from 401k or IRA into Roth and continue to keep the tax rates low. And then this Roth will be worked into your withdrawal strategy, or it'll be something that is passed on to heirs as well. Talking about tax benefits to heirs, this, when it passes on to kids or and whoever inherits it, they're not going to be paying tax on it either with current laws. So this is what I meant when I was getting at when I said that the RFA can be used to protect your other retirement accounts. It's not using those other retirement accounts early in retirement, but really maximizing the tax benefit of them instead. Now, if you're listening to this and you like the sounds of it, but you're thinking you don't want to be the one to implement this yourself, or you've got an advisor who's mainly just talking about investments, reach out to us by going to streamlineplanning.com and then clicking the Get Started button to find a time to talk. Now, I've got a few more strategies to pay less tax, and this next one is how you can never pay tax on that RFA again. So never pay tax on the taxable brokerage account again. So we already know that the RFA, it's got preferential tax treatment with the long-term capital gains rate at between 0 to 20%. But if you're charitable or you want to give money when you retire or while you're in retirement to causes and charities that you like, and if you're currently giving out of cash, this could be an option for you. Really, there's two options that we have. You can continue to, let's pretend you give $10,000 a year. I'm just making up a number. You can continue to give $10K to the charity each year in retirement. Now, the other option here, and what I mean when we're not paying tax from the RFA account is, let's say you've got that investment that went from $5 to $10. You could, with that account, you can either say, all right, I need income for living expenses and sell that, and you pay tax on the gain, pay tax on 5. So you're paying, we'll call it $1, right? Or what could be a better option is switch what you're doing here and instead give the 10, let's pretend you had 10,000, give the 10 directly to charity, and then you just hold on to the cash and use that instead. That way, you're not paying the tax on the gain and neither is the charity. And you've got the cash, same as always, to use for yourself. So the difference between these two is one saves you $1,000 in taxes. If we're saying 10K here, it saves you about $1,000 in taxes. And that's money back in your pocket. Now, also, one thing, if you're not retired yet, or you're in your final year of work or earning income, and maybe your tax bracket is higher than it's gonna be next year. If you retire next year, it's higher right now because you're earning income. Here's the idea or the strategy. Think about pre-funding the next few years of charitable gifts, if you're a giver, in this year here, the high income year, high tax year. Think about pre-funding versus doing the same giving as usual. And then next year, you're gonna be low income, low tax year. Here's why to do it this year and a way to do it this year. Think about saying, okay, pretend it was 10K per year is what you're giving. Now, what if you did the next 5 years of giving, so 50K, and you put it into a donor advised fund. That way you get the benefit of the deduction during the high income years here. And then this account carries with you every year. It's an account that you can control where and when the gifts get granted to charity. So that could continue to give out 10K the next year and the next year and the next year. Getting the deduction, the big thing here is getting the deduction the year when income is highest could potentially save you a lot more in tax. And here's another video on donor advised funds if that's interesting to you and you want to learn more about that. And then a few other big benefits of RFAs. This next one reminds me of a universal law, which is a law of physics. It's Newton's third law, which every action has an opposite, an equal and opposite reaction, right? Our investments in the RFA account, they're going up and down, depending. Let's pretend we had a stock ETF or fund or individual stock. It's going up and down. It could be a lot, depending on what's going on. And when that happens, when there's an action or reaction, you might be able to take advantage of the temporary dips in the RFA by selling that investment at a loss on purpose, thereby offsetting the gains of other well-performing funds that year. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch here to compare physics principles with tax loss harvesting, but it's a real strategy, and if it's done right, it can actually save thousands or even tens of thousands a year on taxes. And just remember too, when thinking about some of these strategies, there's a lot of moving parts here and rules that you got to get right. So just make sure you talk to a CFP professional who specializes in retirement planning and the strategies so you make sure that you're not making a mistake. And then also be sure to watch these videos here to make your retirement even better.